Nothing, baby. Let's go. That's the world now. That's the whole world.
Welcome to the Lone Star College Football Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Each episode, I will bring you news and information about college football in Texas, not just the FBS school, anyone who plays college football in the great state of Texas. I will do so by talking with the people making it happen on the gridiron, the head coaches, the staff, the players, but mostly the head coaches. Thank you for joining us.
Looking to boost your company's marketing? Look no further than Fresh Media Works. Podcasting is the best way to promote your brand and increase your customer base. You can create your own show, be a guest on other podcasts, or advertise on existing podcasts to reach a valuable audience. Don't wait. Start elevating your marketing game today with Fresh Media Works. Call now, 713-269-4620, or find us online at freshmediaworks.com/podcasting.
This series consists of press conferences at the 2023 Texas High School Football Coaches Association Convention. This is A.J. Steward, the Baylor University Assistant Head Coach.
A.J., obviously, Dave's not here and celebrating the life of his father right now. What's been kind of the mood in the coaching staff realm? We didn't really get a chance to hear kind of how you guys have been supporting Dave and all of this. And what's your message, I guess, to Dave and his family right now?
Definitely our thoughts and prayers, are with him and his family. We know how much his father meant to him and overall how much family means to him. So we know this is a difficult time, and so we're just here to support him in any way, whether it be just a text or, just checking in on him. And so I think we have a really good staff of guys who value those type of things and know kind of what to do in these type of moments and how to support each other. And so I think he feels that, and obviously we're going to continue to pray for him and his family as time goes, that continue to, come to peace, over time and things like that. So we definitely have been praying a lot for him and shooting him text messages here and there to make sure he knows we support him.
You guys brought in a decent amount of transfers, some new faces this year in a way y'all didn't last year. Kind of how have y'all gone about kind of ingratiating those guys into the locker room and building a team through a lot of new faces?
I think Coach has done a good job putting systems in place, kind of a big brother, little brother type environment in a way that guys have immediate support with, even if it's just one teammate. And then obviously coaches rally around guys, and he's very vocal in our meetings, about the guys we need to make sure we, love up and make sure we keep eyes on. And we meet with these guys weekly, to just check in and have real conversations, not just about ball and just like, hey, how's the adjustment been? How's the transition been? How can we, help you and make this a little bit easier for you? And so I think Coach is really intentional about that and making sure everybody feels at home and feels like they have support here. And he does have a system in place, and more importantly, he's very verbal about making sure that happens, not just from him, but from the coaches and then also from the teammates. And I think he's done a great job of that.
Do you think that's going to be a big deciding factor in the season this year, just the teams that are able to kind of build a team over a short period of time compared to ones that maybe struggle to do that?
I think so. I think that's kind of the landscape of college football now is not just acquiring talent, but being able to get them ingratiated into your culture and being intentional about that. And so that, when rubber meets the road, guys kind of fall in line and they understand, the ups and downs that it's going to take throughout the season. And so I think that's really important. I think we've been very intentional about that, with answering your prior question. And I think it'll pay off, for us in the long run. And I think the recruiting process and making sure the wiring's there, with those transfers is very important. I think, we signed this class before I got here, but I think the staff has done a great job of bringing in guys who are really good culture fits. And I think that kind of helps expedite that process as well.
Chris Daly, Lone Star Gridiron. Talk about the importance of the Texas High School Coaches Association and Baylor being represented here.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you'll see our our whole staff here without obviously Coach Aranda not being here. It just shows our importance and our value that we place, in the Texas high school coaches. We value true relationships. We don't just spot recruit the state. We all have areas. We go to schools, whether they coaches sometimes will tell us, hey, we don't have a guy, we're still going to show up, and we're going to shake a hand, and we're going to stop by and make time for coaches, and that comes straight from Coach Aranda. And then I think that's what it shows our value, and what we believe in is the right type of relationship to have with these coaches, and these guys do a great job of preparing. I think 72% of our rosters from the state of Texas, and so we really appreciate the time and the foundation that's been laid by these coaches. And so when we get to them, it's not their first time learning a lot of base fundamentals. They've really been taught the game the right way, and they understand the work that it takes to be really good at this game. And so we truly value the Texas high school football coaches and this association, and that's why we're here, and we'll always be at any event they allow us to be at.
I kind of want to go back to that transfer portal and just bringing new guys in, specifically in your room. You bring in Dominic. How do you think that tandem with him and Richard is going to work out this year, and kind of, I guess, living up to expectations with Richard being all Big 12 preseason?
I think he's going back to kind of what I said earlier, just the culture fit. If you just came and watched this workout, you wouldn't think this guy just got here, this offseason. He's in front of lines. He's working really hard. He's bringing teammates along with him. And he's a part of our running back group. We always say that the star of our running back group is the running backs group. And we kind of have that mentality, and it takes time to get to that point, but I feel like kind of right now this summer is starting to take off, and I see those guys really benefiting from each other. They're both in front of the line, when they're doing the running and all that. And so I think it's been a huge blessing for Rich to have him in the room with him, and I think it's been a huge blessing for Dom to have a guy like Rich to push him every day. And we have a good group of guys overall, in our room. But just to answer that question specifically about those two players, I think you'll see that they're going to reach their ceiling sooner than later because of each other. I think that's going to be a huge part of it.
We were chatting earlier about how unique, Coach Aranda was. What was kind of your first introduction to, maybe this organization runs differently than the ones you've been at in the past?
Yeah, I think there's a couple situations that come to mind. The first, one of my first couple of days, we had a staff meeting, and then we had a team meeting, later on, and everything we talked about in our staff meeting, it was said in the team meeting. And not only that, we're getting ready for spring ball and everything, and he really never talked about football the entire 30 minutes of our team meeting, and it was all about us, and just the older guys bringing the younger guys along, like us building a true foundation for our season and all that. And that's usually there's some football that sneaks in, and in those type of team meetings, and we only get these guys once a week. And I thought that really stood out to me. It's not just we don't just talk culture, out in front of the cameras and all that. It's like behind closed doors. That's been pushed, and you can tell that it's very important, to him. And then also we had a staff meeting, and he uses a lot of videos and movies and things like that. And so one of the first ones he showed was Forrest Gump, and it was when Bubba Gump was telling Forrest about the shrimp, where he goes on that spiel about all the shrimp. And I'm, it was about a 2.5-3 minute clip, and in my mind I'm like, okay, where's this going? And then the way he's able to bring a movie clip like that back into like how it fits us, and how I just think he's the best that I've ever been around when it comes to that. And really the whole thing was, we want to be, Bub at the beginning he said, everything started from shrimp, and all these different variations, came from the shrimp. But at the end of the day, we can't lose sight of it, just the shrimp, and it's kind of, an identity thing, and kind of how it pertains to culture and just everything we say we want to be. And I just thought it was so profound, and I liken him to kind of like a pastor almost, in a way that he's able to use these tangible, visual references, or, these different metaphors to really bring everything back and like crystallize the message. And so it's been a blessing for me just to be around his leadership style, and I've learned so much, just in a short amount of time, and the uniqueness of how he presents things, and and just the way he doubles down and emphasizes the culture daily is really impressive.
I did want to talk about the football season too. Fall camp starts in a little over 2 weeks. How excited are you guys to kind of get back to it, and your first year here at Baylor, kind of get to test that out?
We're very excited. I think there's a good buzz. There's a good, a good energy around our building right now. A good optimism around our building right now, just because of the things that have been put in place this offseason. Starting from the top with Coach, I think he's done a great job. I mean, you guys have seen him talk the last few times he's been at, events at Big 12 Media Day. He's very transparent, about some of the lessons that he's learned, within the last, not even his term here at Baylor, but within even the last calendar year. And I think you'll feel that, some of the lessons that he's learned, some of the things he's put in place to kind of, try to alleviate some of these things that have taken place. And I just think we have a good core group of guys that, understand the vision. They support each other. They love being around each other. I think for me, as a first-time coach at a program, I think one of my first evaluations is I go in the locker room maybe 30, 45 minutes after practice, even an hour sometimes. And if you see a lot of guys in the locker room still, that kind of tells you about a program. And these guys want to be around each other. They don't just go home and shower and, and hurry and do whatever they can to get out of there. And so I just feel that, and I obviously on a small scale, I feel that in our running backs room. And we're all really excited. And there's a good amount of energy around our program right now.
How do you think that energy is going to kind of carry over into competing in this new Big 12?
I think, obviously, when it comes down to the Big 12 play, it's going to come down to the things we try to put in place this offseason. The belief in one another, the vision that we have for our program, not just with the players but the coaches as well. I think Coach has done a great job of just crystallizing that in a way right now for when those moments show up during the season. Whether you're down in a game or things haven't gone as planned. I think we have a good system in place right now to be able to weather the storm, so to speak. And so obviously all of these things are great in the off season, but we do feel, the time and effort has been put in this off season in order to, give ourselves our best chance to succeed this season. And we're all really excited about it.
How different is recruiting nowadays than maybe it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago with NIL and the transfer portal? Like, what's the strategy there? What are the tangible differences, I suppose?
I think it's a complete difference. And now with, roster management, you're talking, NIL and how it pertains to different states, even and different programs have their different mindsets on it. I think it's changed. I think the good thing about Baylor, I think we're trying to keep our integrity, keep our the main thing. I think we try to recruit with substance still in a time where some of that's kind of being lost, I feel. And so obviously, I think going back to what Coach talked about last week in Big 12 Media Days, just understanding the landscape has changed and we do have to adapt, but not changing our core values in the process. And I think that's kind of the big thing we've been trying to focus on. And I think that's the most important part is, how do you stay competitive, with the landscape changing without becoming something different than really what you want to be. And I do appreciate being at Baylor for that reason. I think we've done a good job of, putting ourselves in position to compete, in the different ways that the game's changed, but also not sacrificing what we've kind of built this thing on. And so it's a never-ending process. It's this thing changes, weekly almost, it seems. And so we've been open about, we're open to change, but as long as it doesn't change our core values in the process.
Hey, I'm curious, what is it like recruiting to Baylor compared to other spots you've been at? Because last year, I think when Dave was at this convention, he mentioned if there's 10 high school football players that can play Division I football, maybe 3 are fit for Baylor, which I found fascinating. I'm curious, what are some of the key differences you see when you guys evaluate from a talent and both a character standpoint when it comes to finding the right fit?
I think that kind of is what I was alluding to in the last question, just the core values. I think, everybody looks at that differently. We look at it as a competitive advantage. We usually get guys that want to be at Baylor for the right reasons. and I think that's kind of what you get with that. You don't get every guy, but you usually get the right guy. And when I walk into a school like this offseason, walked into the school, for the first time, I will say that the feeling that I had compared to other places is just the respect that people have for the brand of, when you walk in there, with the Baylor shirt, polo on. And so that's been really good, just the type of foundation that's been laid as far as what Texas high school coaches mean to our program. Coach Wren has done a great job with that. And then I think people understand there's a little bit more substance, so to speak, when you come step on our campus. We're not selling the bells and whistles, so to speak, but it's a holistic approach, to the players. And so I think people understand that. I know coaches, high school coaches do. I actually just talked to a coach earlier, about one of his players and why he felt like we would, be a great fit for his player. So I think it's a two-way street as far as the fit. But also I do feel like we get a good crop of guys that are really moldable, and they're also talented as well. I don't think we have to sacrifice talent, for guys who fit our culture, and so that's been a really kind of probably the most eye-opening thing for me as far as recruiting guys to Baylor. I feel like we're able to get quality players, and like Coach said, we may not get every player, but I think we usually get the right guy for us.
What about from a staff standpoint in terms of the vibe in the building? Because I found it seems like Dave is very protective of the culture and chemistry on his staff. As you come in here, how have you seen that manifest in that building lately?
Yeah, I think even in my short time here, there's been a lot of, some turnover and things like that. And just the guys, Coach Powledge, great energy. The players love him. The players respond very well to him. Christian Robinson, Tyler Hancock, these guys are, within our staff, our guys who are just great men, and I think the players feel that, and then also just their knowledge of the game is speaks for itself. And so I think he's done a great job this offseason in bringing in quality coaches, but it's kind of like we were talking about with the type of guys we try to recruit. I think he's found good fits, as far as the character of the men that he's brought into our building, on our staff, and so that's been really cool for me. It's like going to a coach's clinic every day. When I'll go talk to Coach Powledge, and I'm learning a ton of things, and going against Christian Robinson's linebackers every day. These are things that help you become a better coach and obviously a better man too. With the way they conduct themselves off the field as well. And so I think he's done a great job.
All right, we have time for about one more question.
Just as an offensive guy practicing against that defense, who are some maybe the new names or some guys stepping up that you saw in spring that you're excited to see?
Well, I think there's been a lot of buzz around Mike Smith. He stands out when you watch film. He made our lives kind of tough as running backs this spring, and so I'm really excited to see him. I've kind of been able to kind of build a little bond with him, and we work with the linebackers a lot, and so I try to get ingratiated, with those guys, and I give them a hard time, when we're going against each other and competing in spring, but they know I really, am excited to see them fly around. And, Matt Jones, our linebackers core, I think they're really impressive. I think they're very deep, and we're going to have a lot of, a good amount of depth, but some guys that you're going to see fly around. The D-line, these guys, it's for, they are what show up probably more than anything in your run game, in the spring. Really me focusing a lot of my attention on the running backs. And I'm like, who are these guys that just keep, standing out? And so I think that our front seven is, they showed a lot of, promise this spring, and I think they're gonna do a really good job, and they're gonna fly around. I think overall, Coach Powledge has just brought a great energy to our defense, and that's the thing you see, really a lot of detail, a lot of discipline, and then just guys just playing with their hair on fire, getting to the ball. Every coach is showing, clips of guys that D-linemen go run 30 yards downfield to go, tag off. I just think the culture of the defense is really good right now. I'm really excited. Obviously, we're going to be rooting for them when we're over there, our adjustments and things like that. But just the energy around the defense, totally, completely. And I think some of the guys that have emerged, some guys that have been around, but also the insertion of, a couple new faces, I think has really changed the dynamic, of our defense, the confidence and swagger, just the overall energy in that room over there. So I'm excited to see it.
This podcast is certified fresh. FreshMediaWorks.com.
And once again, I want to thank Junior Smokehouse for being the title sponsor of the Lone Star College Football Show. I look forward to telling you more about them each and every episode. Hey, if you want coverage of your school or just want to give a shout out to your team, leave us a voicemail at 713-568-6361 and we'll play it out on the show. That number again is 713-568-6361. Also, do us a favor and give us a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We will also read out the best reviews on the air. Until next time, I'm Chris Daly reminding you to get out there and enjoy some football.